Hey, this is Kim Stone. I'm going to work on some back bends. I'm just going to walk through sort of an introduction of each pose. I'm not going to actually teach it like a class, but just a few here that I'd like to highlight. Some of actually my favorite poses. We're going to start in puppy, but before we get there, let's do tabletop. So shoulders over elbows, over wrists, and keep them in alignment. As same with your knees, you want to be about shoulder width apart. Make sure your legs are tracking back to your feet all the way straight back, and keep your feet on the ground so that the tops of your feet are on the mat. From here, we're going to extend the arms out and we're going to elongate down, and without arching the back, just giving a nice stretch. And we're not looking to sit on our ankles. We just want to keep those hips high. And you want to really stretch the spine. So from the base of your neck up towards your hips, you want those stretched out nice and long. Okay, and as you can continue to reach your fingers out further and continue to deepen or elongate that stretch. We are going to come over onto our backs for bridge, and I'll do it this way. And as you slide onto your back, you want your knees up to a place where you can just barely touch your heels, and find your place right there. Hands down. Your knees should be, again, hip distance apart. Your hips will be resting on the ground. Make sure that you nestle the middle of your back down into the ground. You really want to make contact with the earth here. Okay, once you're in a comfortable position, you want to lift the hips, grasp hands underneath your hips. Try to keep your palms together. Okay, once you get there, you can roll the shoulders under and push your hips up towards the sky. You want soft glutes here, engaging your abs, engaging your quads and your hamstrings, and really giving as much length as possible as you reach your hips towards the sky. You can push down as you breathe, push down with your arms to even reach further with your hips to the sky. Okay, from there we're going to go into wheel, so lower back down. As a counter stretch after bridge or wheel, you can bring your knees in, wiggle a little bit. Okay, for wheel, we're going to do the same thing. Arms are down, palms are going to be on the mat, touching the tips of your fingers to the backs of your heels. For wheel, you're going to lift your arms, you're going to turn them so that your palms are on the ground and your fingertips are close to your shoulders. They're facing your shoulders. You want to really ground your toes into the ground and start to lift your hips up. As you push those arms, straighten your elbows. You're coming straight up into the air. Engage your abs. Keep your glutes soft. And once you've had a few breaths, you can lower very softly back down to the ground. Okay, we're going to stand and take a deep breath. Just in mountain pose. All right, from here, we're going to go into dancer. We're going to start by finding the three corners of our feet. So think about just below your big toe, below your baby toe, and your heel. As 3 points of your foot, you might want to rock just a bit on your right foot. You're going to take that weight out of your left foot and start to just ground your right foot into the earth. Okay, you're going to grab your left hand. You want to make it sort of like you're going to hitchhike, and then swing that behind you, lift your leg up, and you're going to grasp the inside. I just want to show you, grasping the inside of your foot, and get a nice grab with the thumb sort of in the middle of the pad of your foot, and your fingers are wrapped around the top of your foot. Okay, your right hand can come up to the sky. And as you tilt forward, keep a little bend in your knee. You don't want to lock that lower right knee out. Okay, as you're reaching forward with your right fingertips, you're pulling back and pushing the top of your foot into your fingers to elongate and get that beautiful dancer leg up in the air. You're going to engage your abs. You also want to square your hips and keep them straight forward. Keep your gaze forward. Find a spot to look at. And as you come out, just come out gently, and you can shake that right leg out. From there, we're going to go back down to the ground. So from tabletop, you're going to lower all the way down. Your hips your knees should be about hip distance. Your feet are resting on the mat. Okay, your hands are just out a bit higher than your chest. And you're going to lift up for Cobra. So engage your legs, push them into the mat as you push up. Okay. You can also do it with your elbows on the ground. Okay, from there, we are going to go into up dog, which same idea. Put your hands on either side of your chest. Your feet are on the mat, and you are going to lift your whole body up. You want to keep a neutral spine. You don't want your neck craning up, and really open your chest and pull up. And you can see I am rolled over on the top of my feet, looking ahead and engaging and opening my chest, pulling my shoulder blades down my back. Okay, from here, let's go back down to your belly. You are going to lay your hands by each side, one on either side of the other. They're going to fall about, depending on your body, right at your thighs. Your feet need to be together. Zip your thighs, zip your inner legs together. Keep them as tight as you can. Okay, and once you are ready, you can lift up, but I want you to lift up with your chest. Keep a neutral spine. Your gaze should be out ahead, not craning your neck up like this. You're lifting your palms. You're lifting your feet off the earth, and you're holding for breaths up here. You're going to slowly lower back down. Put one cheek on the ground. You can switch to the other as you recover and continue. Okay, also on your belly, you are going to have your knees about hip distant apart. You're going to pick up your legs. You're going to have them at probably about a 90-degree angle, maybe a little more. Grab your ankles or your shins with your hands. Flex those feet. Keep your gaze down, your neutral spine, and you are going to open that chest, roll your shoulders down your back, slowly lift. And engage those abs, engage your quads. Just really pushing with your feet. Every time you exhale, you can just push a little bit further out with your feet. And come back down. You can windshield wipe your feet to kind of give them a chance to recover. You can put your head down to the ground on either side. Come up to tabletop. And we're going to go into downward dog. Lift our right leg up and come into pigeon. So you want that right leg to be parallel with the top of your mat. And you want to find that sweet spot so your hips are even and you can slide that left leg back. Okay? Don't want you to go down in pigeon. We're going to look to rise up. Keep your spine straight. Try to sink into the pose, maybe a bit deeper. Once you have, you can take your your left hand back. Engage your left back foot. Bring it back towards yourself, and you can pull it in with that. Once you get your balance, you can square everything off. Bring this arm around and and reach towards your other foot. You can use a strap in this case to try to reach around for your, so that both of your hands are engaging with that back left foot. And we're going to come to both knees. They are hip width apart. Your feet are on the mat. The tops of your feet are on the mat. Right here, you're going to put I want you to put your hands right here, right where your hips, your hip bones are. So I want you to really feel. Look straight ahead. Keep a tall spine. Crown of your head is going up. And then I want you to jut those hips out, and you should be able to feel that with your hands and climb back. As you do that, you put your hands on your back and continue to look towards the ceiling and give yourself a nice arch in your back. The next step can be to take one hand and find your heel. If it's easier, you can take your toes and tuck them, which makes it a little easier to find that back heel on both sides. Your hips are continuing to go towards the front wall. Your gaze is up at the ceiling. Your shoulders are back and your chest is open. As you come out, you want to lift one hand up and then the other. And you can go into sort of a puppy dog pose as a recovery from that. Last, we're going to come up and stand. We're going to put our weight on our right foot and find the three corners of our foot. Sort of engage and roll onto that foot, taking the weight off of your left foot. Keep your upper body completely straight, your gaze straight ahead, maybe find a drishti, and then we are going to go into tree. So you have two options. One could be just a kickstand right here, or you could bring your foot to here and then just engage your sight straight ahead. Put your arms out like this or do something else. If you feel ready, you can lift your leg just a bit higher above your knee. You don't want it to be at the knee. You can be right here. Once again, find your gaze, roll your shoulders down, engage your abs. Hands to either side. Okay, you can also lift them up and gaze up. Or you could goal post your arms as well. Bring them to heart center. Thank you.